When it comes to curved TVs, the jury is still out. While they certainly look lovely and are arguably more immersive if you sit in the right spot, sit further back or to the side, and viewing angles can become a problem. Sony has realised this, and so for its first curved TV, the flagship S90, it's gone for curved, but not too curved. We've got the 65-inch version here to unbox and review. As well as being a curved TV, the Sony KD-65S9005B is also 4K, which you might expect of a TV costing nearly £4,000. In the box, you'll get two legs that secure into the bottom of the screen to form the stand, and two remotes, a regular one and a smaller smart one, which has a touchpad for gesture control. At first look, you can see how subtle the curve is, and at a fairly normal viewing distance, the curve is practically unnoticeable. We'll admit the viewing angles do seem to be better than on other curved screens we've tested though, but it's hard to tell whether this is thanks to the curve or simply the result of a good panel. The S90 isn't ultra slim and it can't match its main rival, the Samsung UE65U8500, for thin bezels, but it's got a striking look all of its own. The way the gentle curve blends with rounded edges at either side is especially neat, and certainly less divisive than the wedge design of its sister model, last year's X9 series. These rounded sections at either side of the screen are actually speaker units, and this is the first Sony TV to process Dolby Digital and DTS signals directly and with no downscaling, pumping out virtual surround sound via its built-in 4.2 speaker system. You'll know when you're getting surround sound because the little horizontal light strips halfway up each edge will glow, unless you've elected to keep them switched off, and your soundtrack will sound especially large. You won't quite be fooled into thinking you're surrounded by physical speakers, but for a neat built-in solution, this produces impressively room-filling sound with good weight, punch and nice central focus for dialogue. So it sounds good, but what about the picture? Clearly you're going to go straight for the unfortunately still small selection of 4K content on Netflix. Choose House of Cards and you're treated to a wonderfully detailed performance, with a level of definition adding extra depth to scenes. The Sony looks a touch behind in the sharpness stakes compared to other top 4K TVs we've seen, but pay close attention and you'll notice there's no real difference in terms of actual detail. The Sony has a couple of advantages in terms of contrast and colour. It's a very dynamic picture that combines very dark blacks with pure and punchy whites effectively, and a rich colour palette that adds life and vibrancy without ever venturing into the realm of unreality. Once you've run out of 4K content, switch up to Blu-ray, and as with all 4K TVs, the S90 has to upscale even 1080p images, and does so in style. Again, the colours and contrasts are the real winners here. There might not be quite as much insight into the darkest parts of the picture as you'd get with some rivals, but those darkest parts are extra dark, without any sacrifice in overall punch or vibrancy. Sony's motion processing has always been lauded, and it's still strong here. Fast action is clear and controlled, and camera pans are smooth and generally sharp. The S90 has built-in Freeview and satellite tuners for regular TV watching, and though we'd avoid standard def and stick to HD channels where at all possible, if you have to scale down, it's not a terrible experience, with pictures clear and rich. The same is true of 3D. Those who are still interested in it will be glad to hear that the Sony is a solid 3D performer that on default settings strikes a good balance between the depth of image and comfort of the eyes. As well as the outright performance of the set, Sony has also put some effort into making it more user-friendly than most. The Discover feature is very good at getting you to content quickly, offering you content from broadcast, on-demand or recent recordings that might be of interest. We'd like to see Netflix content added alongside Sony's own Video Unlimited suggestions and more personalised recommendations, but it's still a good system all the same. All things considered, the Sony S90 is a real winner. There's thoughtfulness and attention to detail, alongside excellent performance across the board and some of the best audio we've heard from TV speakers. The curved design is just the pretty packaging it all comes in. For the full review of Sony's S90 TV, head over to whathifi.com, and if you've liked this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe. If you want to get in touch, you can get us on all of the social media channels. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or add us on Google+.